What's going on, guys? This is not DB Grinder, but rather Yasin back at it again with another video. I'm even trying to get the intro right. But yeah, it's going to be another DB replay of Earth Machine this time. Very interesting. Piloted by Draco Backpack Sack. So shoutouts to you, Henry, if you're watching this. And against Skarmory, a pretty nice steel and flying Pokemon, who's actually playing Splight. So yeah, before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. And now let's get right into it. So who's gonna win the dice roll? It's, I believe, going to be the Splight player. Kind of unfortunate. So yeah, what's going to be the opening hands? Driver instead of Gamma, so kind of bad at the game. But E's what it is, with some Sky Striker cards. Very freaking spicy. I really like that. So normal summon the Deep Sea Diva, of course. And then gonna be special summoning the other Deep Sea Diva. Or technically could be summoning Yamatako or Orochi, because that is a play that you can do. It's a Sea Serpent. But anyways, Splight starter going to be summoning the Splight Blue. And then summon, well, either Surge the Jet for the Smashers, or Surge the Red if you want to play through Interruptions. But he doesn't want to go through for like more cards. He wants to protect his Gigantic Splight from getting hit by Veiler. Obviously, if you get hit by Imperm, then all hope is lost, but it is what it is. Yeah, Gigantic Splight detach, summon Swap Frog, and then going to be sending Ronin Toadin most likely. Alright, now gonna be bouncing it back. Interesting. Discard, summon another Swap Frog, and then send nothing. So that, I don't know, I feel like that was kind of unnecessary. Yeah, I would have at least sent like another Swap Frog, maybe. Doesn't really matter too much because you also have Dewfrog and you can summon it on your opponent's turn, whatever. Yeah, alright, going to now be reviving back the Ronin Toadin. And then Toad, well, summon Toad and then pass turn there. And then going to be summoning the Dewfrog. So, yeah, just find it a little weird that he bounced back the Swap Frog to now summon it again by discarding a card to not use the effect. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. So summoning another Swap Frog and not the Dewfrog. So yeah, that explains a few things. That's the reason why I guess he just didn't really want to use the effect of Swap Frog. But anyways, now Draco Backpack Sack has a relatively good hand. The Ancient Gearbox is the only bad card. But Afterburner, Heavy Forward, which searches a card, Hornet Drones, Engage, and Gear Frame being a very, very good one-card starter. So if you use the Engage, it's probably going to be getting negated by the Toad. And now you can go Afterburner for the Splight Elf, because you don't control any monsters yet. So the Splight Elf can only revive back non-Xyz monsters. Actually really freaking insane. So yeah, no Toad this time. This back row is an emergency teleport, basically does literally nothing. So the final interruption here is Splight Blue, but unfortunately for Henry, Skarmory has a lot of gas left. So 3 cards in hand, still has a bunch of cards on the field. So that might just not be enough. Anyways, Hornet into the token, which will be Kagari, recycle back the Afterburner. Now you only really have, 3 cards to play with. That's not too much because you have to be extremely afraid of the follow-up. And even in the graveyard, there are a few dangerous cards. So yeah, normal summon Gear Frame. Now at this point, there's literally 0 interruptions. So you're pretty much good to go. The Splight Red negated and destroyed that Kagari. So summon, well, Surge and special summon the Unclaspar, which is a Foolish Burial. So you're going to be sending for the Citadel. Now make the Gear Gigant detach and then search for an Earth Machine monster. Actually, it's just any level 4 lower machine. So you could theoretically search for Ally of Justice Cycle Reader, which is relatively relevant if you're playing against Drytron, if you're going first. So that's actually a really neat move that the deck has access to. Really nice, man. It's such a resourceful deck. Anyways, the Heavy Forward is going to be searching an Infinite Track monster. I don't know if this is... Well, yeah, this is definitely what you want to do, but... I don't know, man. It's just now you can't really make a 4-material Zeus. So, I know this might sound weird, but I think, personally, I wouldn't even have searched with the Gear Gigant. I just would have... And made sure that I could end on a 4-material Zeus so that I would have another material for my opponent's turn. Because you get a search with the Heavy Forward anyway, so you already have that follow-up. So yeah, getting an extra search at the cost of not being able to use a board wipe that is really massive on your opponent's turn is really big. But at the same time, Skarmory top deck Imperm, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. So yeah, Henry, if you're watching this, don't worry, you were destined for failure. Like, you had literally no potential way of winning this game simply because of that top deck. But yeah, going to be slightly cheating using Ronin Toadin as a synchro material. It's, yeah, at least he caught it. Yeah, you can't do that. So yeah, going to be... it's fine though, because if you just summon any other level 2 monster, you can make Baron right away. So yeah, now make a Baron, and then you can use a Splight starter. Obviously, use the effect of Baron to pop. I also disagree with that. You should not be using the effect of Baron very early on, because then you open yourself to Gamma, which could have been a card that Henry could have top decked. So not really a big fan of that, but anyways, at this point it's going to be game anyways. And he has an Omni Negate, even despite all of that. So he knows 2 cards in the hand, so the only unknown is Gearbox. And I don't really think the deck is trying to play Gamma anyways, but yeah. That's going to be a 6400 attack, a Gigantic Splight with a 3k attack Baron, which is way more than 10k damage, very terrifying. And now game 2, this time Henry is going first with Gear Frame, Rivalry, this is a 2-card FTK, Heavy Freight Train Derricane, Redeployment, oh my god, and Call by the Grave. This hand basically couldn't have been any better. The only thing that you almost kind of have to be afraid of is DD Crow, but that's about it. So yeah, normal summon the Gear Frame and then going to be chaining the Heavy Freight Train Derricane, play around Ghost Ogre, Gamma, and Ash, especially Gamma. Gamma on the Gear Frame would have been like the end of the world. Ash, not that great. Valor, I guess you can't really chain block that anyways. But yeah, going to be sending the Citadel that way. And now make the Gear Gigant so that you can search the Harvester. And you can actually discard it with the Redeployment to search 2 cards. So you can search the Trap card as well if you want to. No, sorry, you can't. It's you have to discard the Machina monsters if you want to be able to search Machina cards. Otherwise, you only search Machina monsters. So that's the reason why the Ruin Force and the Fortress were the 2 monsters searched. And the Ruin Force is a level 10 monster that you can revive back by banishing Earth Machines from the grave. Or, sorry, only machines whose total level are 12 or more. So that's how you can make Super Dora the Explorer that can pop a card on your opponent's turn thanks to Heavy Freight Train Derricane. He's going to be linking off for the Ballista so that you can search the box and then search any other Earth Machine which can get your engine started. And you can also get, I think, Regulus, I'm not sure, 50. You can add an Earth Machine monster with 500 attack and or defense. Now, it really has to be just the Infinite Tracks. It's not just generic Earth Machine. That would have been so freaking good, man. Oh, man. Anyways, revive back the freaking 4600 big boy. Just like that, man. Just like that. And now make Super Dora. Use the effect of Trencher to revive back the Harvester. And I think you can make both of them level 9? I think? No, hold on. Yeah, that searches. Now, yeah, the level modulator is, yeah, it's also that card. Oh, wow. They all have the same effect in a way. Yeah, that's going to be going for the Tunneler, which, I get all the names wrong. I'm so sorry. River Stormer, which searches a generic Earth Machine. That's going to be the Regulus. And now make the Goliath revive back. And then that's just a way to get more cards in the grave so that you can use the effect of the Tunneler in order to draw 2 cards. So that's the Pot of Avarice. There you go. Yo, they look similar and even their names are kind of almost the same. Okay, not really, but whatever, you get the point. So that's already a really good board consisting of 2 interruptions, Super Dora that can pop a card, Regulus that can negate, and we're not done yet because, again, the Harvester and the Fortress are going to be making the Earth Slicer. That can pop a few cards on the field. I think you could have also made Phantom Fortress enter Blatnir in order to make your opponent lose a card from the hand. Or you can destroy yourself in order to revive back the Citadel, which I actually believe is a better move. It does make you lose a bit DD Crow though, which is not really the end of the world, so it is what it is. And of course going to be replenishing back resources with the Shuffle back 5 and draw 2 cards. This deck just has so much going for it. I'm a huge fan of this deck. And another Rivalry of Warlords. I don't really know if you really have to set another one, but you have the Omni Negate to protect yourself from Twin Twister and other annoying cards anyways. Top deck Yamatako Orochi. Literally the worst card that you could have drawn. That's hilarious, man. And then Prosperity for 6. You don't really want to negate that. None of the cards were good, apparently. So it's going to be Scoop Phase City. Alright, game 2. So we have Goes in Match, Rivalry, Gear Frame, Redeployment, and Forbidden Droplet. Yo, must be freaking nice, man. This hand is just so beautiful to look at. If you're going first with this hand, it's Exodia Turbo. Actually, replace Forbidden Droplet by Call by the Grave, and now it's Exodia. No, actually, even better. Replace this with Citadel. Anyways, Emergency Teleport in order to summon the Gamma, of course. Not the Xiamen. I know. Now going to be special summoning the Jet, and you can search for the Smashers because you already had the starters. Must be very nice again. Going to go for blue and then red. Unless you want to play around Imperm for no reason and then search the Carrot. That's something that you can do when you hard draw the red, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, make the Gigantic Splight. Yo, notice how the deck loses a lot to Imperm? That's why I keep telling people, stop playing Valor. You have to play Imperm as like the first or second hand trap that you're playing. You can argue Ash is better because it's just like more generic. But then, yo, Imperm has to be the second hand trap because nobody is playing around the card. No, nobody's making the Splight Elf in the extra monster zone and then using the effect of Gigantic Splight. So if you imperm those players, you literally make them lose the game. They end their turn on 1 to 2 interruptions max. Obviously, Anti-Spell Fragrance here is a bitch, but whatever. Gigantic Splight, detach, summon the Swap Frog, and then going to be sending the Ronin Totem. Oh my god, I've never seen this before. Wow, so unique, man. Swap Frog for Ronin Totem and then make the Toad. Set to pass, ridiculously insane. Anti-Spell on standby, Merry Christmas. Now, the cool part here is that Draco Backpack Sack has a few plays here, so we can go Forbidden Droplet for 2. Look at this, man. He has the Call by the Grave for the Toad. Even if you want to negate, that's fine. I'm just gonna go Called by the Grave, and of course you can't chain the effect of Splight Elf because this is in standby phase or in draw phase. So draw phase, I guess. If that, well, to be fair, that was chained to the anti-spell, so it doesn't really matter too much. But whatever. So now everything gets negated. The red and the elf, the toad got hit by Call by the Grave, and the anti-spell is no longer of any use, but the smashers is still an extremely massive inconvenience. So the gear frame is going to be searching again for the unclassed power, and then going to be sending the Citadel. Fortress. It didn't really matter at this point because whichever monster you're foolishing, you can't do much with it. Now, the one problem that I have here is that with 2 monsters, you literally can't do anything because whichever Xyz monster you summon will sadly get hit by the smashers. So you have to say bye-bye to it. You can't go for Zeus. The only play left is Goes and Match, and if you know how to play Splight correctly, you would know that Goes and Match simply is not enough depending on the context. So if you have Gigantic Splight, it's a dark monster. You can go for Unicorn and shuffle back that Goes and Match. And even if you're going first, it's not, well, even if you can't really go for Unicorn that turn because you're locked under Link 2s or level 2s, whatever, rank 2s with the Splight Starter and Gigantic Splight, you can still go into IP Masquerena, and then on the next turn's main phase, you can go for Unicorn that way. So it's just not enough. So obviously you don't really like try to keep fire monsters. You always keep the dark monsters. Top deck, another anti-spell, completely useless, but Gigantic Splight is sadly all you really need in order to keep destroying your opponent. If it wasn't for Gigantic Splight, honestly, yeah, Henry could have had it. Yeah, all he really needed was just any way of getting rid of that Gigantic Splight. So what I think personally I would have done, instead of making Gear Gigant, I would have went battle phase, attack over the Gigantic Splight, and then main phase 2 make the Gear Gigant, in order to see, oh, is this maybe a Smashers? At least I made you lose your next top deck, because, well, I mean, your next play for next turn, because if you're obviously drawing anti-spell with Yamatako, even if you're top decking a spell, you're not doing anything, whereas if, you know, he draws like any starter, it's game over, he just wins. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the game. Really could have been decided by just very small, I don't know, very minor decisions that don't really matter too much. Again, small misplays, and this is the reason why analyzing these kind of replays really matter, because we can learn a lot, and I actually learned a bunch of things with Earth Machine. Very interesting deck. It's the kind of deck when it is piloted by a high-level player, it really does feel like you're playing one of the top-tier decks in the room. It's really crazy, man. Really impressive to see people just understanding their deck way more than their opponents understand them. So, yeah, huge shout-outs to both of you guys for a pretty nice match. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.